The following podcast is considered for a mature audience and should only be listened to by an adult. If you're not an adult, please go and get an adult so that you can watch them as they try to awkwardly explain all of the dumb shit that we're about to say. Listener discretion is advised.
And now, coming to you live from the tri-state area and San Francisco, California, it's the best part of Wednesday, Waffle Box, with your hosts, Mike Fish and Kush Hayes.
Welcome to Waffle Box, the podcast where we talk about anything, everything, and nothing all at the same time. Coming up on episode 91. Someone took 21 Jump Street a little too serious. Wizards of Hogwarts are invading people's homes. We're talking John Wick in this week's movie review, and so much more. I am Mike Fish, and I am joined, as always, by the main man from San Fran. It's Mr. Kush Hayes. Kush, how you doing, buddy?
What's good, y'all? It is WrestleMania week, Mike Fish. I am looking forward to checking out the Showcase of the Immortals for the first time in a few years this coming up weekend. But we are talking about the original Waffle Box. You accept no substitutes because it is the best part of Wednesdays. And how are you doing, player?
I'm doing well. The sun is still shining. Thanks to it's now spring. It's officially spring. Spring has sprung. Daylight savings has come to save the day. And it's wonderful. Just living my best life. How are you?
I'm doing all right, man. Speaking of daylight savings, I'm getting a little annoyed of just like waking up an hour earlier than I'm accustomed to, which is like it's just like saw this light doing what's going on here? Like,
there's this really cool thing called curtains that you can get, and the sunlight doesn't bother you.
Oh, okay, Mr. Fancy Pants. I'm from England. I'll use curtains. I'll wear condoms. Come on, dude. What's going on?
I hate waking up early so much that I sleep with literally a hoodie on all the way up, and then I have an eye mask as well.
And an eye mask. Okay,
I
was going to say do an eye mask, but wow. That's a little... doesn't that get hot? I guess not in New Jersey.
When you're me, everything's hot, baby. You get used to it.
Fair enough.
That's what this.
Can't argue with that. I can't argue with that. I dare you to argue with that, Lathan. You can't argue with that. Look.
Speaking of which, Lathan, how you been? How's last 7 days on this earth?
Well, over the weekend I found out that I might be allergic to caffeine. I had several Long Island iced teas, and boy, did I feel like crap the next day.
Yeah.
The secret there is, Lathan, they might be alcoholic, though. Those drinks may be alcoholic.
That probably explains why I woke up in bed with a traffic cone.
That'll do it. We've all been there, my friend.
Hey, we've all been there, pal. We've all been there.
This is judgment-free zone. We don't judge. But how was your week, Kush?
It's fine. We saw the John Wick. We caught up on some Ted Lasso. That means we now have an Apple Plus subscription, which is kind of exciting. But not really. Mythic Quest sucks and is very disappointing, to say that.
What's Mythic Quest?
Mythic Quest stars one of the guys from It's Sunny, Always Sunny in Philadelphia, as well as written by Charlie from It's Always Written in Philadelphia. And also one of the producers is a part of it, and it's about tech gaming, like EverQuest or whatever the big multimedia online role-playing game is today, like
World of Warcraft from our generation.
World of Warcraft. This is a series about all the hilarious things that happen in this environment, and it's 11 episodes too long in a 10-episode season.
So is it based about people playing the game, or is it like set in the game?
It's not set in the game. It's about people who develop the game, market the game. There are game testers. So yes, playing does become a part of it. The guy running the backstory is surprisingly played by F. Murray Abraham. I don't know if you're familiar with that name, but very fancy lad. Very fancy lad. So you're like, really? You got this guy part of it? Okay. Like that piqued my curiosity. And I was like, this is not funny. And these are funny people. Everybody in this show is funny. This is not a funny show.
Well, I think the shark has been jumped on that, oh my God, you got him? Because ever since Harrison Ford stars in a sitcom, I think all bets are off for me. You can no longer shock me now with your casting choices.
That show is on the Apple TV platform, so I should check that out also and
You
let you know what
should.
I think about it. I
Highly
like Jason
recommend.
Segel, and I'd like to see what Grandpa Ford what kind of jokes he can still make these days. He's never known as a funny guy though. Like
No, he's got a very, as you'll be shocked to find out, he has a very dry delivery of his comedy.
Oh, does he wear an earring in this comedy?
I must admit, I haven't been looking at his ears, but not that I've noticed.
I think maybe things have changed the last 4 or 5 years, or since the last plane crash he had. But like, there was a while there where like he has his ear pierced, and he has like a very noticeable earring. Like you're not even looking for it. You're just like, oh, Indiana Jones has an earring. Okay.
He's one of the cool kids. He's down with the kids.
He's the coolest kid in 1987 on the playground.
Absolutely. Anything else to bring up, Lathan, before we head into the headlines, top stories?
Not to get too political, fellas, but I was wondering if when Donald Trump gets indicted, is he able to get his hush money back, or is it one of those 30-day warranty gimmicks?
To be fair, that's a good question. If you, I don't care who it is, if you pay hush money and they don't hush, and you keep the receipt, surely there should be some kind of paybacks. I don't know how it all works.
So I have not been expecting Donald Trump to get arrested. And again, I don't know why we're getting into politics, but you started this, Lathan, so I'm going to finish it. I've never expected him to be arrested for anything, regardless of what crime he breaks. But I absolutely expect that if he ever did get arrested, and those predictions he made incorrectly were quite surprising this week, I still expect him to be on the stand. Someone asks him a very big question, did you commit the crime? And then he just pulls out this little piece of paper, and it's a pardon with his signature on it. It's just like, I got full immunity, bitches. And that'll make him the world's greatest villain, but I will also laugh the hardest I've laughed probably ever.
Yeah, we don't like to talk about politics on the show. However, I did see a meme of what the headline was the day after Donald Trump gets arrested, and it was just a Photoshop of Ivanka and Pete Davidson holding hands. That was so his mannerisms.
I know Pete Davidson's the dude right now. He's the insider celebrity stud, but I still think Ivanka could probably do better. I still think she could do better, and I think she's looking for a winner, not a guy who's just got a big dick and then he'll sneak out the window at 3 a.m. I think she's looking for guys like, no, this guy has got he's got the entire economy of the Philippines in his couch cushions. I don't have to worry about nothing forever.
Yeah, you don't want to date someone that's gonna have your name tattooed on within 2 days. It's weird, Pete. You seem like a nice guy, Pete, but that's too strong. You're coming on too strong, man. You gotta ease it back.
I don't know if he is a nice guy, but I would definitely say he feels like an unstable gentleman. However, maybe that's how he's winning so hard. So, like,
he does seem like the friend you would have, where you're kind of like, oh, you seen Pete this weekend? No. I think I need some space. I spent too much time with him last weekend. I need a break from Pete. Is it too much?
Okay. Well, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, a little too much of that aura rubbed off on you, and you're like, I made a joke I would have never made in public. Oh my God. Like, no.
I don't want any of Pete Davidson's aura rubbing off on me. That's
fair enough.
You have to get a tetanus jab after that, I'm sure.
Yeah. Like rabies, where there's get 20 shots in your stomach. I understand they got down to 3 now, but still, they're very bad needles. Anyway.
No one wants needles unless I'm getting a tattoo. Then I'm all for needles. But let's get into this week's show, episode 91. My gosh. And a little sneak preview, by the way, not to get too many people upset, but this week's Trapdoor segment is the last Trapdoor segment. Oh my God.
Ever?
Well, it won't be back next week. Let's just say that.
Oh.
Who knows what the future brings? I mean, I was going to get into it later, but basically, because
an angel.
we were working along the alphabet, right? And we got to X, and then it was kind of like, well, exhibit, and then a bunch of dead Chinese rulers.
Hey,
I was like, well, this isn't going to be fun.
You'd be surprised how much I know about Chinese rulers, sir.
Yeah. And then I was like,
I'm say I'm on the protected list over the next 5 years.
So yeah, spoiler alert. This week's Trapdoor is amalgamation. It's XYZ or XYZ, as I like to say back in England. Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's hit it. Hit the music, Lathan. It's this week's top stories.
It's now time for this week's top stories.
This saying goes, Kush, I'm sure you've heard this one before. Whenever you were young and you was bitching about school, and people were like, school is the happiest days of your lives, or whatever the phrase was. Someone will always try to convince you that it's all downhill after you leave school. So cherish your school days, which I always thought was BS. But
yep, I actually had a lot of fun in high school. Those were supposed to be my awkward years, but I actually got those out of the way in middle school, which I absolutely hated. But high school, fucking loved that shit from day one, dude.
Did you plow through some bitches?
No. I was quite unpopular with the bitches.
Knee deep in the clunge, as we say in England.
You're not saying no. However, had a great time.
Clunge means vagina.
Ooh. Sounds murky.
Well, if you ever go to my neck of the woods in Essex, things get a little murky, my friend.
Yeah, and I understand all the high heels are stuck to the ceiling in Essex.
Oh, geez. If you ever, make it with an Essex girl, if you ever make it good in Essex, you walk away with 3 things. You walk away with shame. You feel sticky. And for some reason, you have fake tan in random parts of your body.
Oh, yeah. I sounds like I'll fit right on in. So it sounds where I'm like, oh, my light blue jeans are a little bit bronzier tonight. Okay.
Just cheaper to go to a strip club.
But yeah, I'm ready.
But yeah, so one woman in New Jersey, the happiest place on earth.
Jersey girl.
You can't spell Jersey without joy. That's how the saying goes, apparently. So this 29-year-old woman was arrested a couple of months ago here in New Jersey for allegedly, here's that word again, allegedly, even though she was arrested and she did what this article says, but allegedly posing as a high school student. Madness. The woman, identified by police as a name that I am not even going to attempt to pronounce, has been charged with using a fake ID to enroll in a New Brunswick high school. Miss Shin attended there. I can say that. Miss Shin, I can pronounce that word. Miss Shin attended the school for 4 days before staff found out her age. School officials said police are investigating the matter and a review of the district's enrollment process will be conducted, and so it damn well should. Things got weird, though. The issue came to light at a local education board meeting on Tuesday, months ago, where New Brunswick Public School District Superintendent, that's a hell of a long business card, Aubrey Johnson, told attendees that Miss Shin had been caught at the school, quote, last week by filing some false documents. An adult female posing as a student was able to enroll in high school. So how did they find out this was weird, right?
Please.
So what
Yeah.
had been happening?
I looked at a photo of her. She looks quite young.
Oh, does she?
Yeah, yeah. So she's an Asian lady. So she, you know.
What's let's play a rhyming game. So let us say like black don't crack.
Yes.
What do they say about Asians? Asians
amazing hair and very youthful. It doesn't rhyme, I know, but it's but still true. Very amazing hair, very youthful.
Maybe you could like really push the boundaries of artistic merit and be like, black don't crack, Asians look amazing.
Asians look amazing. Asians look amazing. Yes,
we can workshop
we'll put that on a t-shirt.
Yeah,
we're gonna put that on a Waffle Box t-shirt. We're gonna get no controversy out of that whatsoever.
And then those damn hooded fellas always ruin it. Oh, Asians are amazing. Black don't crack. White is right. Oh, fuck off. Get out. No, you've ruined it now. Get out. Oh, they always ruin it, those damn white supremacists. Anyway, so what happened, right? So she had asked other students, female students, asking them to hang out. Hey, come on, girls, let's hang out, be girls. But they never showed up. And she started acting, quote, weird with them. Bizarrely, New Jersey state law allows students to be enrolled in school, even without a guardian or without all the required paperwork. That's just seemed bonkers to me. Like, you could, like, what's his name? Steve Buscemi can just rock up. How do you do, fellow kids? And he's in.
Yeah. I mean, so when you were explaining this story before I looked it up, yeah, like obviously we should have thought this was like a youthful looking woman, but for whatever reason, like I just like bad hair, pock marks, smoking a cigarette, like you mind getting out of my way, love, so I can get into my locker. Like that's the kind of lady I was picturing, but she looks very youthful. I can't imagine why they wouldn't be like, oh yeah, you probably should be in high school. I wonder what grade she was in. However, reading further in the article, like this was just a lonely girl apparently who didn't have the best high school experience. And was like, yeah, before I turn 30, I'd like to have had some fun in high school. Like this is definitely unstable behavior, but also fairly innocent-ish.
What's crazy though, in the article that I read this from the BBC, it actually states that this is not the first time something like this has happened. Apparently, this happened in Scotland, where a 30-year-old man did the same thing, but he was there for like pretty much the whole school year, I think. And you're saying this woman looks youthful. They showed a photo of this guy. Like that motherfucker looks like he's in his mid-30s. He's had a tough life. Like how the fuck did he pass for that long? He's Scottish. So old.
Yeah, no, he's working in the coal mine since he was 8. Of course, that's going to age a man.
I mean, yes. No offense to our Scottish listeners, but you don't have, people don't think Scottish people are always so youthful and good looking. It's cold and windy, so they're all like, they always have that scrunched up face.
All that windburn on the cheeks, like that ages you. All right, like I get it. I was in San Francisco here. See, San Francisco. We get a lot. Like. And
did
when
your
I was
parents
17,
ever,
people thought I was 26. Okay.
Well, yeah, same here. But did your parents ever do the whole thing where like if you pulled a funny face or you looking all mad, they'd be like, better change that face because if the wind changes, it will stick like that. Did you ever hear that?
I think my grandmother tried that on me because that was a thing from her generation. However, no, I don't recall my mom ever saying anything like that to me.
Well, my mum used to say that all the time, and I think the story comes from Scotland because the wind changes a lot up there, and they're all just stuck like gurning, like all look like Popeye, but less cheerful. But yeah, so would you ever like? Would this ever? I know you're saying she's probably a little unstable young lady who just wanting to make some friends. But
Yeah.
if you could, and we're not talking obviously about creepy because obviously most high school
Let's
kids
take creepy out of the equation.
let's say creepy's here. I'm grabbing it. I'm grabbing creepy, and I'm like, no, I'm moving you. Go over there, right?
Au revoir, creepy.
Stay
Au
away,
revoir.
out of shot. Would you ever do this? Would you ever do this?
Sneak back into high school?
Yeah,
No.
even just for like a day, just to experience it.
No, because like all my friends now have kids that are in high school and going to college, and they're
That'd be
all
weird.
annoying. They're all annoying. Okay,
That
like I don't relate to anything that they're into today, and it's very sad. I remember the day where I officially unplugged from like pop culture. I woke up, it was Sunday morning, I slept in, it was great. I watched some TV, and then I realized that for 2 hours I've been watching VH1. And I was like, oh my god, I'm only 23. Why am I watching VH1? Oh my, and that was the day it ended. Any chances
back
of
in
me going
my
back to high school?
back in my day, VH1 was the shit because that would be the one that would like be showing all like the 80s, 70s, and 80s stuff.
The 70s and 80s stuff, and then like obviously Celebrity Rehab and the
Real Housewives
Webster and
bullshit.
yeah, a lot of reality shows going on at this era, and they are fun, but it's also like, oh, this is what my friends' parents used to watch when they were old or young, old, or whatever. And yeah, so we don't even
So
watch
it's
VH1 anymore. But yeah, it can't. I, someone would be like, yo, for real, no busing, Cap, and I'd be like, what the fuck did you just say to me? Like,
bless you. Do you
do I
need a
need to?
tissue?
Did you just call me a homo? What happened here? Like, do I need to punch you? Anyway,
So we're
we,
old,
we would
man.
not we would not fit in very well at all.
We are. See, that's the thing. They say that the MTV generation. That's what we are. We are the generation of the people that always say, "I remember when MTV used to play music videos."
Mm-hmm. But every generation has that I remember situation. But yes, our example is I remember when MTV used to play music videos, and then they didn't, and now they don't.
I
And it's
remember
not even a just
MTV2, which was more like the alternative music. I don't know if it was the
oh
same
yeah.
over here. And they used to have this TV show every day from I think it was like from 4 till 6, where it was just like non-stop music videos. Well, I don't know. Look when I do this, I guess my camera's trying to adjust. It looks like I'm having a
Oh
stroke
yeah, you're
like going on. But they were just like
it's that
non-stop
pasty
music
white hue.
videos.
Yeah, look at that.
But it would have like the songs down the right hand side with numbers, and you could text in to requests.
Oh, that's cool.
I spent so much money on that.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow. How much did that cost? Just for one?
If I remember correctly, it was like £1.50
Okay.
plus. This was when plus standard rates. This is when like text message. There's no such thing as iMessage, and everything costs. A text message will cost like 30 pence.
Yeah. So I remember when MTV2 became a thing. However, we could not get MTV2 in San Francisco. So going with the joke, I remember when MTV played music videos, there would be several conversations for a couple of years. We're like, I really wish I could get MTV2 to watch music videos because that was the thing. Like, you remember how we used to play music videos on MTV? Now we got a whole new channel that just plays music videos. You're like, what? Why
Shouldn't
can't
MTV2 be
MTV2
the
be
one,
the
the
yeah?
non-music stuff? But the MTV should
Couldn't
be
have been
music
that though.
television.
That's the flagship station though, and MTV2 played the music videos, and now I don't even know if MTV2 plays music videos.
I'll research it, but yeah, I would have no idea.
I
No
think they
idea.
literally became just Jersey Shore and whatever their mock punked thing was. Like they had punk,
Oh, was
and
it
then they tried to do
ridiculousness?
punk
No,
songs.
that was on. Yeah, was it
Probably too.
ridiculousness?
Probably. But I'd
That
aged
whoever
out of everything
hosted
at that point too.
ridiculousness hats off to him because he's a very rich man, a very successful man. But my God, he's annoying.
Okay.
So anyway, if you haven't seen it, don't check it out. Yeah, to wrap up, it's a no from me for going back to school. Lathan, would you ever head back to your childhood and go back to school?
I mean, I had a really hot art teacher back in the day. I'd be more than happy to re-enroll to show her that I'm all grown up now.
Or you know what? Or Lathan might be onto something. That's not a bad shout.
know,
Like, because you read all these stories about these female teachers always having inappropriate relationships with their students, and they're always like super hot, and you're like, what the fuck? When I went to school, they're all old and ugly. This is bullshit. But now, if rather than going on Tinder, just go to high school again and pretend to be this innocent, vulnerable young boy, and then just plow your way through the teacher's lounge.
I will say, when I was 18, when I was a senior at Lincoln High School, I did ask out history professor Mrs. Choi to the senior prom. She quite shocked. She blushed. The entire class laughed. I should have been embarrassed, but I was just like, oh, that's fucking killed. Yeah, like I'm a fucking king now. No, who else is asking out Miss Choi to the prom? No one. That's who. Miss Choi, very attractive lady, FYI. But yeah,
Where is she now?
It never happened. No idea. It's been 25 years.
You never don't tell you've never looked her up on Facebook.
I don't know what her first name is.
Yeah, that is the issue, yeah. I guess.
She was just Miss Choi.
Mrs. Choi. Oh no, you could type in Choi and then the school name, and maybe she has it under her like employment history. I don't know. Come on, don't give up.
San Francisco, I have a feeling there's a lot of Chois that went to Lincoln, one way or the other.
Yeah, that's like
I'm just dropping facts, kids. I'm just dropping facts. This is a controversial episode 91 of the Waffle Box.
We always circle back to our Asian persuasion, our love for the Asian ladies. So, Mrs. Choi, if you are watching,
hey, I'm 44 now.
Enjoy wafflebox@gmail.com. Let's make this happen.
Although she's probably getting ready to. If she isn't married, she's probably past. Oh, she's probably on her way to retirement right now. Again, this was 25 years ago. I imagine at her earliest, she was like, what, 25, 26? Like, she was a young one.
So, yeah, she might be like late 40s, early 50s. All that experience.
50s. All that history. We talk.
She could teach you a thing or two.
Because, that's what I do.
Hey. All right. Anyway, next top story. It's a short one, but it did make me giggle my little hairy butt off.
Oh, this is the short one. We're going a half hour.
So, in Cleethorpes, which is in England, by the way, you ungeographically educated buffoons, Cleethorpes Wildlife Rescue said in a Facebook post that volunteers were dispatched in when a northeast Lincolnshire resident reported bird sounds were coming from inside a wall at their home. So they had that bird trapped in the wall, right? And what was really bizarre, right? They look around the house, what's going on? Right, let's look for points of entry. Where could the bird get in? There's nowhere. Oh my God, look at all this. There's no hole. Isn't that? How did this bird get trapped in a wall? We need to find out. And then it's like, wait, listen. Ooh, they could hear it. Oh my God, wait. It's coming inside the house. And so they kept on looking, and they ended up finding a stuffed owl toy that was Harry Potter merchandise, and it was wedged under the couch. When I guess it was like just wedged at just the right point, button. Where it just kept. Woo!
Terrifying.
Hilarious story. Fucking idiots. Like, who calls? Right, if you're hearing this noise, did you not? did you not think to look like, I don't know. It just seems like fucking. I hope these people go to jail for wasting wildlife rescue time. I don't know if that's a thing. I know it's morons. Fucking morons.
This is definitely a situation where they're friends with someone who is mad at them, and they're like, I'm gonna give their kids the loudest, most obnoxious thing possible. And that was the Harry Potter owl. And then somehow it got wedged under the couch, and they're just like, this is better than I would have expected. Like, I thought they would just yell to the child, but no. They didn't even know what it sounded like. Like they that's how little they pay attention. Like so much drama happened in this one story. It's pretty great. They make movies out of this, or at least 30-minute anthologies.
It'd be a Netflix series, I'm sure. Before we get into the Dumb World Record for this week, since this is a very racy episode.
Yeah, it is. It's weird, right?
Right. I just wanted to, because recently, I've been seeing some discussion on the Twitter sphere, where how it is, how sometimes films and books from back in the day read through 2023 eyes, you're kind of like, oh shit, you can't get away with that. And they were kind of like talking about, do we edit them? Because I know is it Roald Dahl's books were being edited or something to make them less
recently Roald Dahl's
or some shit.
Has a couple edits to be a little more insensitive. I don't know if they're racist, but a little more insensitive.
I don't read Roald Dahl.
I didn't read them either.
But then it's like, do we edit them or do we just put a big old fat disclaimer on it? Hey, FYI, this was written by a guy in 1940. It includes what you expect it to include. Just FYI, right? And it reminded me, right? Have you ever seen? Do you ever watch like ye old movies, like black and white movies?
Is that the name of a show featuring black and white movies, or just I watch black and white movies?
In general, do you watch black and white movies?
I will if it's something I'm interested in.
Right.
Short answer, yes.
What this reminded me of, right? And I just feel like I have to discuss this, right? So, my father, shout out to Papa Fish. He's a huge fan of black and white movies that seem to have zero fucking storyline. Like I just remember growing up, and he would make me watch it, and at the time it felt like these movies go on for like 6 hours, and there's no point what is going on, right? But one of his favorites was a movie called Dam Busters, right? It's set in, I believe, the Second World War, and the whole purpose of it is actually the guy who oh Jesus, can't remember his name. The guy, I think the Lord of the Rings guy,
Ian McKellen.
No, the director and the big Lord of the Rings guy. What's his name?
Not Robert Rodriguez. I know who you're talking about though. The director of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, that guy. Apparently, I think he was like gonna try to remake this movie. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So the whole purpose of this movie is about a flight squadron who are delivering a bomb because to really fuck with the Germans, they need to bust the dams so the water spills all out, will drown the innocent Germans. At the time, hilarious. And fuck up their water supply and all that bullshit. But they couldn't, obviously, because it's a dam, which is like a relatively from the sky, a thin wall. You have to be very precise to drop a bomb on that. You might be able to get away with it now, but back then, no. So they needed to work out the bouncing bomb. So it was a thing where they could drop the bomb and it would skim on the water and then hit the dam and blow it up. That's the whole premise of the movie, right? The reason I'm talking about this movie is because there is a character in this movie who owns a dog. He owns a German Shepherd dog. Okay. And the dog is, let's just say the dog has dark fur.
Yes.
Without
most
saying
German
it,
do.
Can you guess what this 1950s movie named the dog? that was black.
Person of color.
Yes, correct. They named it person of color. And
which is really weird because it's still a dog. Why not a dog of color? But
it bothered me so much. Like, because not even, just for the obvious reason.
Sure.
Obviously, you know, the dog's called
like,
the N-word. The dog's called the N-word.
Exactly. And it's like when you want to talk to your friends about this movie, as you're having the difficulty you imagined that you would have talking about this movie right now. Like, you can't just say like his name was the N-word. It sounds weird.
And it wasn't even with an A. It was a hard R.
This hard was R. Like,
which again, so one, that's messed up, right? Mm-hmm. But then also my brain, I'm always the kind of guy that always wants to work. Okay, right. I want to try to get inside of this messed up situation. Like, what was the intention? What was his, thought process, right? Because obviously, I'm assuming if you have the N-word with the hard R in your vernacular, you are a certain type of person, shall we say, in that you have unpleasant thoughts about certain people in society. Let's just say that. You're probably racist, right? I'm assuming he liked the dog. So why would you name the dog a racial slur about people that you don't like? It doesn't make sense to me at all.
Yeah, I think there's a trope that we may not be hip to these days anymore, where you named your Doberman Pinscher or whatever your attack animal breed was after something you hated. So, like, yeah, I've seen plenty of movies or TV shows where the Doberman Pinscher, or again, whatever attack animal dog, was named like Adolf. Like, you name it something just that unappealing, that evil to you. And obviously people of color aren't evil. However, in this man's mind, he could have named it Satan, he could have named it Hitler, but he just went like,
Hitler would have been a great name. He's a guy in the army during the Second World War. Hitler would have been a great.
I'm gonna hit him with that hard R. Ooh.
Like, could you just imagine like the awkwardness? Because imagine, like, in his spare time, when he's hanging out with his friends, he's preparing to hang out with his friends. He's putting on his hood, just lining up the eye holes just right so he can see everyone. And he just looks and he sees his loved German Shepherd look at him with his puppy eyes, and he's probably like, "Don't look at me." Yeah, don't. So yeah,
as far as
I
American
think
literature it goes. Before Roald Dahl, and I don't know that he's American, but Mark Twain's books keep getting edited as the days go on because, well, like in, I forget if it's Tom Sawyer, Huckleberry Finn, both those books suck, FYI, but there's a supporting character, and we're not going to use this actual name, but when that book first came out, his name was N-word Hard R Jim. And then they tried to, like, I remember being in school and reading an edition where his name was just Slave Jim. And I'm like,
I guess that's slightly better.
That's hard, that's still exhausting to read, and I lost all interest. But now they just call him Jim. All right, yeah. And maybe that's not such a bad thing. But however, that book is still a product of its time. And I mean, Warner Brothers and Disney are now on their streaming sites showing those old cartoons with very racial and racist tones, two different things. It's still in the same picture, and they have to go like, hey, they put disclaimers like, this is what we did in the 40s. It wasn't cool then, but we did it. We're acknowledging it, and we don't want to like not show it, but you need to know this is a thing. And
FYI, this movie was written by a white guy in the 20s. Prepare yourself.
Likely, but still, where I'm going with this is I'm supporting your question from 25 minutes ago. Like, yeah, they could put a disclaimer in there saying like, yo, they could do one of two. Like, this is when this book was written. This was of its time. Do we approve it today? Of course not. But we're not trying to take away that fame. Or this book was written in its time, and so we've altered some things. Like, you can have two editions. Fuck it.
Two editions, yes. I'm support that because that could be hilarious. Where you dub over some stuff. That would be really fun.
Like 90s hip hop. 90s hip hop. Some of them had that parental expression sticker. By the way, you're gonna sell way more copies of that book with that goddamn sticker on it.
Like, do you remember like
did
Gone
you
with the
know
Wind?
in Tom Sawyer they use the N-word? Oh my god. Controversial. Quentin Tarantino must be sweating right now.
Jesus. But yeah, Gone with the Wind with the whole, because obviously they had the whole.
I've never seen
the main character. They have a slave in their house,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
And I think that would be hilarious. One version where you just say, "Hey, FYI, this was during the slave time, so it might be uncomfortable," and then release another version where they just kind of redub some stuff. And so when you had like the slave owner walking into the room, about to talk to the slave, and he goes, and then that pause, like freeze frame, and then it's just like, "I would just like to let you know that I respect your opinion, and I'm very happy that you're working. In fact, I'm going to give you a raise. You deserve so much. You work so hard, and I respect you, everyone." Just do that. That'd be hilarious.
I haven't seen Gone with the Wind, but I also understand that it's
12 hours
pretty
long.
Pretty tame, even for 1939 standards, where they're projecting that the slaves just punch out at 5 p.m. and they're like, "Woo, fellas, fucking Miller time. Let's go.
Last one to the bar, buys the beers."
There you go. That's right, motherfucker. Yeah. We're gonna watch the fucking Knicks game tonight. Like, it's on. But you know, it's always complicated, Mike. And even with the best intentions, the worst consequences can come from it.
Well, that was a fun conversation.
I don't know if we actually got anywhere with it, but yeah, it's this is a
we like to make people think, bro. That's all. We like to make people think.
Yeah.
Well, that's enough thinking. Let's talk about some dumb stuff because it's now time for this week's
dumb stuff.
Dumb World Record of the Week.
Why?
Why? Why would I lie? Why?
Why? Why? Why? Why? Why would you want to do that?
I can't. I'm on a stool. I can't
try. You got to stand up like me. I can see. Get yourself a standing desk.
If I stand up, then I cut my head off here, man. Come on.
You just get a stand raising desk. You can get your exercise in while you're doing the podcast. You can lunge.
That's why I'm doing this the entire time.
You can do expressive dance. There's so much room for
the loosest hips in the podcast game. I dare you to find a podcaster with looser hips than mine. That could be fun.
Enjoy wafflebox@gmail.com. This week's Dumb World Record comes to us from Armenia, and it's nice and simple. There's no fluff to this story. It's literally one sentence, and I think the whole sentence packs enough power. It has all the information in, right? So, an Armenian athlete doesn't even fucking say his name. Armenian athlete broke a Guinness World Record when he performed 32 pull-ups in 1 minute. Clinging to the skids of a helicopter. So yes, so he held on to the skids or the legs, to those that don't know helicopters, and the helicopter took off, and then he started doing 32 pull-ups in a minute.
The helicopter lower itself so he could step back onto the ground, or did he just fall?
Yeah, he fell to his death. R.I.P.
Oh.
I don't know why they did it over the Grand Canyon.
Of the angels.
He died doing what he loved. Actually, I don't know if he did die.
I'm
assuming he didn't. But 32 pull-ups in a minute. Is it that impressive?
I think for me it is. I don't
Well,
know. I could
yeah,
do
but
30 pull-ups.
I just don't. Even though would doing it from a flying object make it harder?
Yes, it's unstable. You're shaking around. You still. I mean, shit. You could fall. You could still fall and hurt yourself. I don't know how high they went, but yeah, it's definitely dangerous on a helicopter.
But as with any of these conversations, it's always like, where did this come from?
It
Was
was a
he
great
like,
question.
you know what? I really like to do these pull-ups to get, it's arm day today, so I really want to get jacked. But you know what? I also want to see the world. How can I merge these two hobbies of mine? Like,
It's only a minute trip, so he's not seeing the world. So,
but how much money? Like, did he own? I don't need to know. To be fair, I need to know more. I'd like to know his fucking name. The disrespect.
the
But
disrespect. Yeah, we need to know who his name
did he
is.
own the
Like,
helicopter? Did he rent the helicopter
No, but
for this?
Geez, I hope not. I'm hoping he knew someone who knew someone that had a helicopter, or even like bypass one. Like he knew someone with a helicopter. But yeah, he definitely doesn't own one. I hope he didn't rent one, but I hope someone's like, "Oh, you want to do some pull-ups? I got a helicopter. Let's do this shit."
Let's see if let me do a quick Google search if I can find if someone else has the information on this.
Plenty of
Oh, good. Okay, that was quick.
Break it down.
Oh, his name. Hamazasp
Yeah.
Ployan.
Okay. Strong name. Such a strong name it can't be pronounced by Western men.
Right. So this article that I found maybe kind of does explain why the other article that I read only had one sentence, right? So as you know, one of our big popular things here on Waffle Box, we like to out the people who are kind of like, all right, I need more characters in my article, so I'm just going to come up with some stuff to fluff this article, right? I'm going to read this full article word for word, and let's see if you can pinpoint the place where this guy had nothing to say, right? So, March 13th, an Armenian athlete broke a Guinness World Record when he clung to the skids of a helicopter and performed 32 pull-ups in 1 minute. Hamazasp Hloyan took on the record for most pull-ups from a helicopter in 1 minute. Hloyan, who trained for the record attempt with fellow Armenian Guinness World Record holder, completed 32 pull-ups in 1 minute to take the title. It's 3 sentences. They're all basically the same fucking sentence, just reworded slightly.
Yeah. We definitely
better.
need to know how high they went. Like, even if it's
Nothing.
9 feet.
There's nothing.
Okay, like that's still part of the record. All right, I'm okay with it being 9 feet off the ground, but
Also,
yeah, come on, guys.
there is a picture. There's a picture, so he doesn't look that far off the ground. But for those watching the video version, for the audio listeners, I do apologize, but I'll try to be described. But how would you, again, when we're buff guys, we like to work out. Look at us, we're ideal specimens of human beings. But how if you're going to do a pull-up, how do you do a pull-up?
There are multiple ways to do it.
No, that wasn't the question. Respect the exercise. How do you, Kush Hayes of San Francisco, California, host of Waffle Box podcast, how do you do pull-ups?
Well, it depends on which muscle I want to exercise. I can go this way, or I can go this way. But this is fists inward, fists outward. Like I don't have a better explanation for that because one is literally exercising the tricep, one is exercising the bicep. It's
look at
two different motions.
You know everything, don't you, Mr. Know-it-all?
Well,
okay, yeah. So in the photo, he's doing it, I guess, wrists out, and I'm kind of like, that's weird, but because I'm normally like, I'm fists in or what? I don't know.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. And neither one is wrong. They're both 2 different exercises.
Anyway, congratulations to this guy for doing something with his life, I guess. Still to come on episode 91 of Waffle Box, of course. We're talking John Wick 4 in this week's movie review. We've got the feel-good story of the week and the middle of the show quiz coming up after the break, where we celebrate National Mermaid Day. Ooh.
All right.
I'm going to pop off to feed the dogs. I'll see you back after this short break.
Hey, you get a tough case of athlete's foot. The itching, the cracking, the burning. You want a medicine that acts tough. Boom! Tough Actin Tinactin. Clinically proven Tinactin cures even tough cases of athlete's foot fungus. Get Tough Actin Tinactin.
It's now time for the middle of the show quiz.
Hey, welcome back to the Waffle Box. Episode 91, still to come. John Wick 4 gets the Kush's movie review treatment, and much more. But it is the middle of the show, so it's now time for the middle of the show quiz. And as everyone I'm sure knows, Wednesday, March 29th is international/national, I'm not 100% sure, but it's Mermaid Day. Whoop whoop. A whole new world. A fantastic point of view. Oh, that
You
crazy
looking forward to the
Jamaican
new Little
crap.
Mermaid movie?
Nope. But I'm sure I'll watch it anyway,
that's
because I'm
fair.
sure it'll be on Disney Plus, and my wife will make me watch it.
For sure. Do you know
That-
that
the
DreamWorks
crap
is
better-
making a movie that is only taking shots at the Little Mermaid?
Speaking
Or
of which, I
a
mean,
Kraken is the good guy?
we're already down the rabbit hole, but it's still hilarious that some people are so upset of the race, of the skin color of the mythical creature that doesn't exist.
Oh yeah, that's just dumb. People should not care about that. Danish people should have an opinion on that, and then they're probably just like, "Oh, you mean that movie that they're remaking about that story that they adapted from our story? That's nothing like our story." Yeah, who cares?
Like if they were doing like a biopic of, I don't know, George Clooney, first name that came to my mind, and they cast Kevin Hart to play George Clooney, I could understand being like, that's weird. That's a weird casting choice. Why did you do that? But it's a mythical creature, doesn't exist. But anyway, I digress.
Does not exist.
So what we're gonna do? We're gonna do in this middle of the show quiz. I'm gonna test Kush's knowledge on mythical creatures, where I'm gonna give him some clues, and he is gonna have to try to guess which mythical creature I am talking about. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
Okay.
I was gonna try to word the questions to make it kind of like Jeopardy, but fuck it, I'm not gonna bother doing that.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that too.
Anyway, right, you ready? You ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Question number 1. Famous in Jewish folklore, these are most often depicted as beings created from inanimate matter, such as clay or mud, which have been brought to life to serve some purpose. Very vague, some purpose.
I'm gonna say gremlins.
Golems. Who knew
Golems from
golems were a thing before Lord of the Rings?
I'm aware of it,
Oh, okay.
but still, I should have known that.
Question number 2. This one actually might be a little bit easier. Most often depicted as a giant with one eye, these first appeared in ancient Greek mythology.
If we're not talking about ogres, we're talking about cyclops.
1-1. Question number 3. In European folklore, these dwarf-like earth spirits guarded underground treasures. Medieval myths depicted them as creatures resembling little old men, often with hunched over backs.
What is Joe Pesci?
No, it's not Joe Pesci. That's Lathan. Jesus.
You're not even in this segment, bro. Come on. Fuck. I'm gonna just say trolls. I don't think that's correct though. Those are trolls are a bridge thing.
What is gnomes? Is the correct
Gnomes. Should have said gnomes.
Question number
My
4.
bad.
According to Greek myth, these were the offspring of the Queen of Crete and a majestic bull that came from the sea.
A bull from the sea. Minotaur.
Ooh, it was the Minotaur. So it's 2-2. Here it comes down. Comes down to the
All right, the
final
tiebreaker.
The tiebreaker,
God,
baby.
how many times have we been here? And
To be fair, not very often. It's normally you either like crush it or you shit the bed. It's not very often we have a big tiebreaker. So here we go. People on the edge of their seats, listen now. Question number 5. A hybrid of a lion and an eagle. These were a powerful, majestic creature of ancient Egyptian and Persian mythology. Wait for me to finish the question before you give your answer. Now you can answer, Kush.
Is it a griffin? What is a griffin?
It is a griffin!
You win.
What? Look at you. Check out the big brain on bread. You did well. You did well.
Gnome. I should have said gnome and I would have done better. But I said troll.
Oh, you should have said golems as well. You got a clean sweep, but never mind. We don't.
Should have said golems, but
I want a gold-plated toilet, but we don't get
I'm not used to my anti-Semitic heritage yet. Like I know about gnomes. I should know about golems too. But bad.
Joe Pesci. All right.
Oh, Lathan.
Now we come to the here we are to the end of the road. It's the final trapdoor segment. Oh, Roxy the dog was like so impressed with my singing. She's like, "What the fuck is going on in there?" Is that a trapdoor segment?
Still think we can get that one next week, but okay, we're gonna do this.
So yes, we've worked our way through the alphabet, and due to my lack of effort of research, we are now covering X, Y, and Z all in one. How this works is I name 4 celebrities, 1, 2, 3, 4, and Kush has to decide which one of these celebrities, which is currently standing over a trapdoor, which lever gets pulled, and they get sent into oblivion. As always, he must respect the exercise and explain his workings. Kush Hayes, the 4 celebrities this week. Spoiler alert, Exhibit. This is number 1. Famous for hippity hop music and pimpin' those rides. Contestant number 2, Yasmin Bleeth. Famous for being, that other one that wasn't Pamela Anderson on Baywatch. Contestant number 3, Zendaya. Famous for being Peter Parker's other girlfriend. And other things. She's done other things. You know, shout out to Zendaya. Very talented.
Things.
And contestant number 4, Zac Efron, famous for being also technically on Baywatch, but in a horrific adaptation starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and other things. So we have Exhibit, Yasmin Bleeth, Zendaya, and Zac Efron. Kush, speak to the people.
We are promoting this now as the final trapdoor, and I hope for myself and the rest of the Serb squad out there, those who are with us and who have yet to discover us that this is not our final trapdoor segment. I hope we have another one next week. I don't know. Maybe we go to numbers. Maybe we use the Greek alphabet. I don't know. Mike, you're a smart guy. I think you can figure it out. I think everyone here is automatically assuming that I'm going to pick Zac Efron to be in our trapdoor. And for those of you who thought that, you're wrong.
Ooh.
Zac Efron is a Renaissance man. He can sing, he can dance, he knows comedy. Like, the guy is an all-around artiste, an auteur, if you will. And I didn't grow up with most of his stuff. Again, I was out of that demographic, but goddamn, I love The Greatest Showman. He is in that, and because of that, he's not going anywhere. You know who else is in The Greatest Showman? Who worked with Zac Efron? Miss Zendaya.
Did you hear that? Sorry
punch?
to cut off your train of thought. Did you hear that little bang?
I didn't, but I saw you hit something and react like you hurt yourself.
Yeah, I accidentally just slammed my hand down on the desk. Fuck.
Damn. I hope it was in celebration and not anger.
Oh yeah, I'm so happy Zac Efron's not going down the trapdoor.
Wow.
Carry on. Anyway, I'll just grin.
Oh, okay. You might want to get some ice while I'll be here for a minute. You want to get some ice? I'll be here for a minute.
I'll just drink more.
I promise
I'll drink the pain away.
Drink the pain away. Zendaya, also in The Greatest Showman, also huge crush of mine. Also, Oakland native. And by the way, I do a lot of work in Oakland, so I cannot, in good conscience, send Zendaya down the trap door. Otherwise, I'll never be able to take the BART again. Like, what are you putting me in here, Mike Fish? Like, I haven't seen everything Zendaya's in, but everything I've seen her in, I love. So Zendaya, you're not going anywhere, babe. That brings us to Yasmine Bleeth, who I think might have done less than Exhibit this year. However,
I'm almost that. Is she still acting? Is she still performing?
Don't even know if I could pick her out between her and Tiffany Amber Thiessen. So don't tell her that, though.
Good job.
However, Yasmine Bleeth is safe.
Oh!
Who doesn't love a big pair of titties? Everyone loves a big set of titties, and big titties save the day tonight.
Oh, so, we love big old
Mr.
tick bitties.
Mr. Exhibit is with a heavy heart that you are our final guest on the trapdoor. And I hated the title, Pimp My Ride, but I enjoyed the show. I also hated the aftermath stories that came out of it. Where like, oh yeah, as soon as they pimped my ride, I couldn't pay the taxes on that shit. So they immediately stripped my car and just gave me back this not legal, street legal vehicle that they picked for me. But that's out of it. That was out of his control.
We put a 50-inch screen under the car. Why? Why did you put it under the car? That doesn't make any sense.
I sincerely remember an episode where a blow-up drive-in screen came out of the trunk.
Oh,
and then even Exhibit was just like, I think you guys went too far on this one, guys. Like, this is just dumb, you know. But whatever, it happened. I still love his sophomore album X. By the way, it's hard to have a sophomore album that's usually good. Usually, sophomore project is sophomorish, but X is fantastic. The first album he had before that, also check that out. I don't remember what it is. I'm now an old white man. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. But Exhibit, thank you for your service, and you'll be missed.
He pimped your last ride.
He was actually having a promising acting career, and then nothing. He did that shitty X-Files sequel, and I think that killed his career. But he wasn't bad in it by any means.
I don't think I'm any aware of this X-Files with Exhibit. I need to find this. So
there's the X-Files movie, Fight the Future, that happened during this show TV series' run. Okay? And then the series ended, and then like a couple years later, they brought back Mulder and Scully for X-Files 2.
Alien Boogaloo.
No, but it involves a pedophilic priest, and I'm not sure what they were trying to do in that, but it was weird and just like, no, I'm not in this story at all. By the way, pedophilic priest played by the great Billy Connolly, who just does all drama in this. Like, funny man, Billy Connolly, and he's like, oh, mm, all right, I guess.
I love me some Billy Connolly.
I guess it's supposed to be edgy or something, but
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
X-Files 2, no bueno. And then we somehow got a 2 season of a Hulu series out of it. But regardless, yeah,
Do you remember
that
again?
did mean no pleasure to drop Exhibit, but it needed to be done.
This piece of acting, really, is exclusively for the YouTube reviewers. So if you are listening to this, pause, go to YouTube, skip to the exact same timestamp so you can see this. If you're an X-Files fan, if you ever grew up watching the X-Files, you remember this. This is burned into my brain during the opening credits. You know, there was always like this weird imagery, like the imagery. They'd be like oh, it's the abominable snowman in the background, or Bigfoot. We'd be walking like videos, and then for no reason, there was this weird, like skewed video of someone doing this. Ready? So you remember, right? I'm about to do this, right? You remember the X-Files intro, right?
Yeah, pretty good.
You remember this? So when it's like, they'd be like this random, like squirmy face going, ooh, like remember that episode of Simpsons when Mr. Burns is on to drugs and everyone thinks he's a glow-in-the-dark alien?
Okay.
Kind of remind me of that.
I don't remember that, but I do remember just like a torso, a faceless, just nondescript torso. Could be a man, could be a woman, but just like it's just, its arms are just to the side, and then it's just falling, and it spirals, and just I forget if it's coming into the screen or if it goes straight down, but that's yeah. I mean, that was a crazy series, and it was a lot of fun, and it's a shame how that Hulu series turned out.
Exhibit paid the ultimate price.
Thank you, Exhibit. Your sacrifice will be remembered from here on out. It will not go in vain.
Move on. So last week, was it last week? When we spoke about Scream 6, was that last week?
No, we talked about Shazam 2 last week.
So 2 weeks. So I'm a big, you know me. I'm a big like, oh my god, why are you doing that many films? Oh my god, you're getting into like porn movie territory now. Like Fast and the Furious 86 coming out next year. So we're gonna talk about one of those types of movies, but this one I think deserves it. Spoiler alert. But anyway, it's now time for Kush's movie review. Bam, 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 bam.
Kush's movie review.
Kush's movie review. This week, he's discussed. What are you doing? What are you doing?
I was raising my hand in victory.
Oh, okay. Cool.
That music inspires me to make the best reviews I can.
John Wick 4, starring Keanu Reeves as Keanu Reeves with slightly longer hair than usual.
That's fair.
I love the premise of it. I haven't seen John Wick 4. Shocking. I haven't seen the movie you're reviewing. It often's very often, but the premise behind the characters, chef's kiss. So how is the 4th installment of this franchise, now we can call it, I guess, in a way? Kush Hayes, take it away. Tell the people.
Well, let me ask you, before we start the review, what did you think of the original John Wick? Have you seen the original John Wick?
No, I have just looked up the synopsis on Wikipedia, and it looks really cool, but I just haven't got around to watching it. It's one that I just keep meaning to do it, and I think they're all on Peacock.
Probably.
I think.
Or HBO Max. Or
so
the first 3 are definitely on streaming right now.
Yeah. So
and all together on the same platform. Like, oh, I gotta go Peacock for this one, and then Netflix for this one, and then Plus for this one. They're all on the same platform. At least they were.
Isn't the it's like a dude, and he's like either his dog gets killed or his dog gets kidnapped, and he just goes on a rampage.
You're half correct. So, the original John Wick is kind of just an indie thriller. Okay, Keanu Reeves and his stunt double from The Matrix, Chad Stahelski, got together and like, what if we could make a movie that just like highlighted what stuntmen go through? Like, let's just do all the stunts we couldn't get in The Matrix. Let's do all the stunts we couldn't do in that one project. The thing that everyone's like, nah, homie, that's not safe. Like, we can't do that. We're gonna do that here. Okay. And it was less than 100 minutes. It was balls to the wall action. It's actually had an emotional story where Keanu Reeves plays a former hitman who had to do an extraordinary task to become a former hitman and not a current hitman or a dead hitman, but fell in love, found a woman, they get married. God damn it, Mike. She gets cancer. What kind of cancer? The worst kind of cancer that kills you.
Vagina cancer?
And she got vagina cancer. And while waiting for vagina cancer to take her life, her essence, her soul, she somehow makes arrangements for a puppy to be delivered to John Wick once she is finally not of this mortal coil. And once that dog comes in, he's like, well, this is weird, but okay, here's a note. Here's the last words I'm ever going to see from my wife in a card. And here's this puppy that is supposed to help me through my thing. Let's just walk through this. And
pause.
Within a day, pausing.
Mike Fish, Daily Waffle Box, with a question.
Mike Fish, Daily Waffle Box. I recognize you.
So the dog is delivered like what, the day of or the day after she dies?
I'm not sure if it's even a week after, but she's dead. It's absolutely confirmed that she's dead. And then one day he comes home and like, hey mate, here's this puppy it's being delivered to you. And he's like, what the fuck? Like,
do they have strict instructions? Don't deliver the dog until I'm dead.
Probably.
And then like every now and again you'd have like, you deliver it. Oh shit, she's still alive. Well, see you tomorrow.
If you want to poke holes in this story, you can. However, in this story, the bitch is dead, and then a puppy is delivered to Keanu Reeves. Like that's all I got for you right now. There was no tip transacted here, unless it was done electronically, which probably wasn't because it's her account, and she's dead.
PayPal. Anyway, carry on.
Carry on. One day, maybe 2 days, has happened once this puppy is delivered, and then some Russian gangsters got their eyes on John Wick's car, and they even offered to buy it. And he's like, "Car's not for sale, gentlemen." And then he goes home like nothing happened, but they followed him home, and then they home invaded, and they knocked out John Wick, and they killed that puppy. And then he's just like, "Oh shit, it's fucking on." And you stole my car? Oh, now it's fucking on. And you get this fucking great dramatic scene where like he's got a pickaxe and he's got a fucking hammer into his basement floor because that's where he buried all his guns and his fucking suit and the currency he's gonna need to survive in this world. Mike Fish. It's an amazing goddamn movie, and I'm so sad you haven't seen John Wick Part 1.
I just love the order in which those things happened. And it's like, oh, my wife is dead.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my puppy is dead.
Mm-hmm.
I need to go for a drive to clear my thoughts.
And he does some driving.
That's it. That's over the line now. My car.
You see this movie, you're gonna. I think you're gonna sincerely love the first John Wick.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm looking forward to watching it.
Like my personal opinion. This isn't a review for the first John Wick, but that first John Wick, what I'm leading with in this interview, within this review, is that first John Wick should have been its own movie. There should not have been any sequels. There shouldn't have been, we can make this bigger. We can make it better. It should have just been its own thing. And then because it did make so much, Chad Stileski, director, and Keanu Reeves, superstar, should have just made 3 other different movies where they go balls to the wall action, because shit just gets out of control in this movie, Mike Fish. I'm not going to walk you through the next 2 films, okay? But
John Wick 2.
They're taking that car too. Fuck.
John Wick 2 takes place the very next day after he's completed all his objectives, and he's still got knife wounds and staples and a new puppy, by the way. Everything
That was a weird
goes
delivery
crazy,
instructions.
and now he has to murder more people. And now
Deliver
he has to
this
murder more
dog
people.
after I've died, and if the other dog dies as well. Jesus. I've got like 6 of these.
No. You'll just have to discover how he gets that second dog. However,
Okay.
it just goes crazier and crazier, and the stunts get wilder and more dangerous. And I get why people like this as a series. It's one of the most stylish action films ever. Whatever the second most stylish series is or a stylish movie is, I can't tell you, because this one exceeds everything. The lighting is fantastic. The choreography is all on point. So like you can see the action. Okay, Lost do the different angle, like just jump cut. So it looks like something exciting is happening, but nothing happens. This one, like, they focus on the stunt. But in John Wick 4, shit just kind of gets mean, dude, to the point where thankfully this gentleman is just a faceless henchman. And by a faceless henchman, he's got a mask on, so you can't see who he is. He's probably been in 4 other scenes and been murdered 6 times now. But the actor in this costume with the face mask, with all the body armor that's supposed to protect him from bullets and etc., literally gets just thrown down an escalator, not a flight of stairs, an escalator. And you see it and you're just like, this is fucking mean. Like, you didn't have to do
escalators are
that.
metal, and they've got like teeth. The edge of the stairs have got teeth. That shit probably
they're
hurt.
sharp.
Fuck.
Yes, like it's not just a regular flight of stairs this dude was thrown down. He was thrown down an escalator, and thankfully it wasn't moving. But still, you're just like, god damn, dude, like you didn't have to do that. Forward, or maybe a precursor. So about 18 months ago, there was a very indie-rific movie out there called Rust. It still hasn't been released yet. It stars Alec Baldwin. He's the producer, not the director, but is the star.
Killed someone.
And there's a scene where he's supposed to have a gun in his hand. He points it at somebody. It has a blank in it, and he's supposed to murder the character on screen. However, there was mishandling of firearms on that set, and I haven't read the thing, but here's what did happen. A projectile shot out of that fucking gun barrel and not only went through like the cinematographer, but killed someone else on the set. And so there's been a big whole thing and a debate about like, well, how real do we have to make these action films? Like, we've got CGI. We don't need squibs anymore. Like, we could just
or
you just need to do that. You can just
when
do
someone's
that,
filming,
and then plug in a flame. Like
if they're doing that, right? Have no one standing in the line of that gun.
and on most sets, that's usually also a precursor. Like, just to be safe,
Yeah.
no one stand there.
Yeah, this is
within the
just in
thing.
case.
But again, this was an indie picture, and well, unfortunately, one person got shot, another person got killed, and it's been a whole thing. Should Alec Baldwin face charges? Actually, he's not. But because of that incident, lots of safety issues have taken over on sets to the point where, like, even John Wick 4, who's like We want to make this the most realistic action movie ever. We want to do Krav Maga and Gun Fu, and we bang, 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 and everybody dies, and it looks super awesome. And despite throwing a guy down a flight of an escalator, we can't have guns firing blanks on this shoot anymore. So everything is CGI. It doesn't have the same weight, which is weird. I'm all for safety. Consequences aren't the same in this film, and this entire movie is all about consequences. Like it is its buzzword. Like Fast and the Furious has family. Family is also brought up in this, but they're talking about consequences. Lots of consequences are brought up in this movie. And guess what? They have bulletproof suits. I'm talking about, like, you remember, those New Year's Eve episodes I do where I'm in a tuxedo?
I do.
They're also in a formal suit, and then they're just going, oh my God, bang, 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 bang. Like, you didn't hit me, got you, bang, bang, bang. Now I shot you in your face. Like, the suits
I have
are now
a bulletproof mask on. Haha.
Well, so the faceless henchmen have bulletproof masks on. However, these fuckers are wearing formal suits.
Even if a bulletproof mask was a real thing, and even if a bulletproof suit was a real thing, you'd get a hit that still would be like, oh, you'd probably still get knocked over and it would hurt.
Yes, by a lot. By a lot, Mike Fish. That was a great point you just made there.
Thanks.
Seen this film, and yes. So, however, having said that, again, they're wearing bulletproof suits, Mike, where they can literally run into gun scenes like that. Like, oh my God, like I'm now protecting my covered face. But guess what? Some Japanese chick with some sword that's been folded 7,000 times just stabs through that shit. Like, it's very the rules of this movie are inconsistent. Like, I'm all about some dude with a magic glove just snapped his finger and eliminated half of life in the galaxy.
Yeah, that makes sense, right? It's science.
I can see a bulletproof suit, but then, like, a knife is just what bullets can do. A knife is just doing right now. I don't care how many times it's been folded or mastered. Like, some dude just gets stabbed the fuck up, and again, it's fucking mean. And while he's the aggressor in this, like, oh my God, bitch, like he's dead 3 times now. Just stop.
And then she like insults his hair while she's doing it. It's like, geez, that's a low blow, man. Low blow.
He may have. This movie is rated R. It is 2 hours and 49 minutes. It should actually be a PG-13. There's some blood spatter, but because of all the squibs, and you're just like, my man John Wick, that roundabout in France?
You're
trying to get to
annoyingly, I do know the roundabout that you're talking about. The one with the.
There's a fight scene in that.
Yeah,
it's like 5 lanes long. Yeah. The roundabout.
I've walked across that roundabout and went because that the building, you can go into that building and things like that.
Okay.
Very
well, there's a fight that happens during traffic in that, and you think at some point traffic would just stop and let this fight happen, but traffic just keeps going through it. And bad guys are getting thrown into cars, and John Wick.
Look at these stupid Americans fighting on their roundabout. Fuck them.
John Wick gets hit by 5 fucking cars in this, still gets up and just keeps murdering people.
Aha! I was wearing my car-proof suit.
I wish he had said that, because I would at least been like, oh, well, I guess that's a thing. I want to love this movie. This is a very great looking movie. It's very well shot. Again, we hang on stunts. There's no fast cuts where just nothing happened. Like, people are taking these hits. People are being thrown downstairs. Shit, people might be being stabbed up for all I know. It's sloppy, and where that first movie is about a man dealing with grief and like, oh, not only did you steal my car, but you stole this token that my dead wife gave me so I could deal with the grief of losing her. We're not even talking about that anymore. This is kind of on the level of Fast and Furious. You remember when they were just stealing DVD players and now they're flying it? We're kind of on that level. I don't think there'll be a John Wick 5, but if there is, I would not be surprised if it happens in space. Having said that, the formula is what it is. Again, there should not have been a sequel after that first one. That first one is a fantastic film. They all look great. The stunts are all above board. Better than you should expect from an action film. But they're also at some point just like we go too hard in the paint. When John Wick is being hit by 5 cars and still just Krav Magaing everybody, no. When we're talking about a bulletproof suit, but then knives can just stab me up, no. We went hard on this review, so I just want to get a couple details out there. So Shamir Anderson is in this. He's dope. I would like to see more Shamir Anderson. Donnie Yen, when has he ever been bad in an action film? I love his blind swordsman and gunman character. Bill Skarsgård of the legendary Skarsgård family. He is a creepy asshole in this, and despite his mission is just to kill John Wick. He doesn't do anything else outside of just like, you never see him with women, you don't see him with men, you don't see him doing drugs. It's just like, I need to fucking kill John Wick. He's great in it. Okay. One of my favorite martial artists in the game right now, not Scott Anderson. Jesus Christ. Anyway, that guy is in a fat suit and is doing wheelhouse kicks. Hardcore Krav Maga in a 100-pound fat suit. Like, there should be a lot of great in this movie, but because it is 11 minutes short of 3 hours, it's just like, fuck you guys. It should have been 100 hours tops. You want to make it 2 movies? Make it 2 extra movies. Fine. I don't care, but there can be a thing as too much of a good thing. Okay. Stunts don't have to go as fucking long as they do. That fight in the roundabout doesn't need to be 15 minutes long. The bullshit with the bulletproof suits, unnecessary. It's just dumb. It's dumb, and that's the guy who loves the Fast and the Furious series. This is dumb. This series makes mouth breathers feel like they're Renaissance professors. Okay, where it's just like 2 killers are just talking to each other, and there's just a Renaissance painting like, the history of this thing. It's all about tyranny and going against the grain. And it's like, fuck you! Shut up! Just start killing people. Like we didn't come here for this. Like stop being so much of a thing. So I don't know if I want to give this movie 2 out of 5 or 3 out of 5, but this movie was exhausting in all the worst ways. There's a lot of great in it. But
wait.
Its runtime is really felt.
This
shouldn't have been 3 hours.
Wait.
Holding.
What are things that are exhausting in a really good way?
I like the action in this film, but the scenes should be all tighter. Like we just go on. It's literally like 15 to 20 minutes of killing people. 50 again. John Wick is not a young man, so for him just Krav Maga flipping fools, like so many wrist locks, Mike Fish, so many gunshots to the head. At some point, so many times you stab a skull. It's just enough. There's enough. There's a limit, dude. Okay, and John Wick should have been a paraplegic after the second film. Okay, I told you he got hit by a car 5 times in this fucking thing. There's fantasy and there's reality and there's a fine blur in the middle, but this is too much. This is way too much. Okay. I would love that after John Wick 1, they didn't do John Wick 2 and they just made 3 separate different movies with all the best action. But at some point, like, John Wick should be just dead.
Why won't you die?
Why won't you die is actually a great question in this series. Like, what the fuck, dude? And that's really all I want to say about this. But I understand it's got fantastic reviews on the Rotten Tomatoes right now, and maybe you guys haven't been paying attention, but story wise, canonically, all that fancy shit we like to talk about on the internet.
All that
No,
jazz.
this series is breathed too long. Okay, John Wick should have just avenged his puppy's death, picked up his new puppy, and moved on in life, and we shouldn't hear anything about it. Like, there's a lot of we should have left with I want to know more, and then not got those answers. It's one of those things where, like, oh, you're explaining shit now. I don't like these answers, and I'm fully happy if that is just me. But yeah, fuck it. John Wick 4, 2 out of 5. I wish it was better. I hope to see Chad Stahelski do more. This movie is breaking records. I can't see why he won't. I want to see Keanu Reeves in more. People are making fun of his acting again because of this movie, and it's like nothing's changed.
Yeah,
Keanu
he's been pretty consistent through his career.
He's been consistent. You like him or you don't. I like him, and for what this was, it's fine. But it's the same story every time. I'm trying to get out, so I'm going to go deeper in, and then I'm going to get out, and I'm going to murder 11,000 people on my way there. Like, he gets thrown down a flight of stairs twice trying to make this deadline, and you're just like, just no, I don't want that. I don't want that. So I wish I had a better review for John Wick 4. 2 out of 5. 2 out of 5.
Get out of here, John.
I don't think it's worse than Ant-Man 3, but Jesus fucking Christ. Enough. Like, there's, again, too much of a good thing.
Well, if you are watching the video version of this podcast, you'll see Kush has got a scowl on his face now. I feel reliving this movie has ruined his evening, so it's now time to try to put a smile on that face. Turn that frown upside down. It's now time for this week's feel-good story of the week.
It's the coolest fucking story I've ever heard in my entire life. It's insane. Can I hear it again?
Yeah, see, look at that. Who's all happy again? This week's feel-good story comes to us from Minnesota, also known as, it's really fucking cold here. Glen Lake Elementary School had many fun activities during class breaks, but some students couldn't join in. Oh, but why? Why, Papa? For students with physical disabilities, there was a complete lack of playground equipment. Some of the students in teacher Betsy Julien's 5th grade class took note of this and decided to make a change for the better. Wyatt Fucht and Reese Riley, these are definitely like Welsh names, but they believe that every student deserves a chance to have fun during recess. So they asked their teacher why the school couldn't buy the equipment themselves. Ms. Julian explained that it was expensive, with an estimated cost of $300,000. My gosh. But this did not deter Wyatt or Reese, and the pair went on a mission to raise money for a disability-inclusive playground. They began collecting spare change, held a bake sale, printed flyers, and went door to door to raise money. They even reached out to local businesses and restaurants, asking them to donate a portion of their profits. The students' hard work continued for several months with support from the Glen Lake Parent-Teacher Organization until they finally reached their goal of $300,000 I don't know how old 5th graders are, but
Usually 10.
10 years old?
9 to 10. Yeah.
10 years old, right? They raised 300. I don't know what this. The strobe lighting is terrible. $300,000 to help their classmates with physical disabilities. Wow. Shout out to them.
Yeah.
Wyatt and Reese. I apologize. I'm not going to try Reese Riley and Wyatt Fucht. Feucht.
Fuck.
What a guys. What a bunch of guys. However, unfortunately, obviously, it's downhill from here because, once you've achieved that at 10 years old, what are you going to do now? Huh? So what are you going to do next?
Well, you raise more money.
Raise more money.
For another project.
Girl Scouts of America, take note. You just sit and lean on your morals, whatever. Taking it for granted.
You should actually probably take
cookies
notes
again.
from the Girl Scouts.
Whatevs. But a shout out to them. Raised way more to charity than I did. It's not even charity, it's just friends. Shout out to them. Anyway, that brings a close. So my gosh, this is a marathon episode of Waffle Box. But it's been a pleasure. Sped through, as they say. Kush, I know you do have a podcast. You do have audio magic. Bosnet.family. What kind of content can the good folks of the Serial Squad got to look forward to in the coming days and weeks over at Bosnet?
And we're celebrating WrestleMania weekend, and I'm bringing on West Coast Pro Wrestling commentator James Kincaid, and we're going to talk about what we should look forward to in the 2 days of WrestleMania. Oh shit! Robin Seto's coming back also, and there's going to be a Robin Seto cameo party. You don't want to miss that. Microdose number 158 this Friday.
Check that out. Go to Bosnet.family. The return. Don't call it a comeback. It's been here for years. Robin Seto back on the Microdose. Make sure you follow us at Waffle Box Pod on all social media networks, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Not TikTok, because they're spying on us, apparently. That's a thing. I am at Only Mike Fish. He is at Kush_Hayes.
Kush_Hayes.
That's what I just said. It's a good night from me. It's a good night from him. Say good night, Lathan.
Good night, Lathan.
Aggressive.
Oh.
Anyway. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Fuck you, go Devils. Whoop, 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 whoop.
That's all, folks.